Welcome back to Old Charles. Today, we're talking about one of those coins. The 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent piece. It's not made of silver, it's not a rare error, and you won't retire on its value. But this little coin is a time capsule. It's a story of a city at a crossroads, of economic turmoil, and of a design that lasted for decades. So, is it valuable? The answer is more fascinating than you might think. The 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin is part of the third series of Hong Kong decimal coinage, introduced in 1975. Composition ***. It's made of nickel brass, often called nickel brass squat, by collectors. That's a copper-heavy alloy, which is why most of these coins have that distinctive yellowish gold color that can tone to a brownish hue over time. Weight ***, 4.4 grams, diameter ***, a modest 19.5 millimeters. It's a small, but chunky coin. Edge ***, it has a milled, or reeded edge. This was originally an anti-fraud measure from the days of silver coins, to prevent clipping, but it stayed on for tradition and grip. The design is quintessential British colonial era. On the obverse, the one with the portrait, we have the legendary Arnold Machin portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II. She's facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Around her, the inscription, ***, Elizabeth II***, and ***, Hong Kong***, in English. The reverse is where it gets uniquely Hong Kong. Designed by K. T. Loke, it features a beautifully stylized Chinese junk boat sailing on waves. This isn't just any boat, it's a symbol of Hong Kong's history as a trading port, a nod to its maritime soul. Above the boat, the value, 20, and below, the word, cents. The year, 1978, is tucked neatly below the waves. To truly understand this coin, we have to step back into 1978. Hong Kong was in the midst of an economic miracle. It was a manufacturing powerhouse, the Pearl of the Orient, shining bright. But this was also a time of immense uncertainty. The joint declaration between the UK and China, which would decide Hong Kong's future after 1997, was still years away. But the question was in the air. What would happen to this vibrant, capitalist hub? This coin, minted with the Queen's portrait, was a piece of a world that was already beginning to fade. Economically, 1978 was also interesting for the coin itself. Inflation was starting to bite. The purchasing power of this little 20-cent piece was decreasing. It was still useful for small transactions, but its role was diminishing. This was a workhorse coin, minted in huge numbers for daily commerce. Okay, let's get to the question you've all been waiting for. What is the 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin worth today? We need to break this down into two categories, face value and collector value. 1. Face value ***. In 1978, this was worth 1/5 of a Hong Kong dollar. Today, that's about 2.5 US cents. So, not much. If your coin is scratched, faded, and has lost its details from being in pockets and tills for decades, it's worth, essentially, its melt value, which is negligible. You might get 10 to 25 cents US for it, mainly as a filler coin for a beginner's collection. A coin with light wear on the highest points, the Queen's cheekbone, the sails of the junk, but sharp details everywhere else. This could fetch $1 to $3. This is the good stuff. A coin that never entered circulation. It should have its original luster, no bag marks or scratches. A brilliant uncirculated 1978 20-cent piece can be worth $5 to $15, depending on the quality of the strike and its eye appeal. Now, you might be thinking, I need to look for an error. And you're right, errors can be valuable. But here's the key fact about the 1978 issue, it was minted in enormous quantities. The Royal Mint in London was churning these out to meet the demands of Hong Kong's booming economy. We're talking tens of millions of coins. Because of this high mintage, it is not a rare coin. Finding one in your change in Hong Kong in 2024 would be unlikely, but finding one in a collection is very common. So, unless you have a pristine, uncirculated coin still in its original mint roll, the 1978 20-cent piece isn't a cash cow. But its value isn't purely monetary, its value lies in its history. It's a tangible piece of late 20th century Hong Kong. It's a symbol of a specific time and place, frozen in nickel brass. Point 1. A mint error *, a major double strike, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet. But these are exceptionally rare for this issue. Point 2. High-grade certification *, if it's been graded by a service like PCGS or NGC as MS-66 or higher, its value jumps significantly, perhaps to $50 or more, because it represents the absolute finest known examples. Point 3. The 1978 small 8 variety *, this is the big one for this year. Some 1978 coins have a noticeably smaller 8 in the date compared to the 7. This variety is much scarcer and is highly sought after by specialists. In uncirculated condition, a confirmed small 8 variety could be worth $20 to $50 plus. So, the 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin teaches us a great lesson in numismatics: scarcity and condition drive price, but history drives value. It may not buy you a latte, but it connects you directly to the bustling, uncertain, and dynamic world of Hong Kong in 1978. It's a humble hero of the coin world, a survivor of a bygone era. The story of the 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin is not just about a single year, it's a chapter in a much larger narrative spanning colonial identity, economic development, and political transition. To understand the 1978 coin, we must trace the lineage of this denomination. These coins were silver, with a composition of 0.800 fine silver. They featured the portrait of Queen Victoria on the obverse and the denomination and date within a wreath on the reverse. They were small, elegant, and intrinsically valuable. Their silver content was often worth more than their face value, leading to mass hoarding and melting, especially by silversmiths in China. This caused chronic shortages of small change in Hong Kong, minted at the New Hong Kong Mint, which only operated from 1866 to 1868. These continued in silver but saw various portrait changes for Queen Victoria. The melting problem persisted. It featured the elegant Arnold Machin portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. The reverse, designed by K.T. Loke, broke from tradition by featuring a beautifully stylized Chinese junk boat, a powerful symbol of Hong Kong's maritime heritage and its history as a trading port. This was a conscious move to incorporate local iconography alongside the colonial portrait. The year 1978 is crucial. This was not a rare, key date but a year of peak production, reflecting Hong Kong's economic reality. The 1970s were a period of explosive growth for Hong Kong. It had become a global manufacturing and financial center. This booming economy required a massive supply of low-denomination coinage for everyday transactions, for buses, newspapers, street food, and small market purchases. The 1978 20-cent coin was a workhorse of commerce. While economically vibrant, the political future was uncertain. The new territory's lease was due to expire in 1997, and negotiations between the UK and China over Hong Kong's future were looming. The Sino-British Joint Declaration would be signed in 1984. Every coin bearing Queen Elizabeth's portrait was a reminder of a colonial status whose days were numbered. Precisely because of the economic boom, the Royal Mint in London produced the 1978 20-cent coin in the tens of millions. It was not intended to be a collectible, it was intended to be used, and used heavily. This is the primary reason why, despite being over 45 years old, it is still very common in circulated grades today. The design changed slightly with the 4th series, introduced from 1985 to 1992. The 20-cent coin retained the same composition, size, and reverse design, the junk boat. The key change was on the obverse. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II was updated to the later, Raphael Maclauff, version, which depicted her with the royal diadem. The 1978 coin, therefore, represents the earlier portrait of this specific nickel brass type. The political future became the present. In preparation for the 1997 handover, new, colonial-free coinage was introduced from 1993 onwards. The Bauhinia design ***. The new 20-cent coin removed the Queen's portrait entirely. The obverse now features the Bauhinia flower, the floral emblem of Hong Kong. The reverse design of the junk boat was retained, creating a seamless link between the colonial and post-colonial eras while removing the overt symbol of British rule, change in composé.